dipersembahkan oleh
They're gonna give you a little token of appreciation. I love this one. Thank you. Thanks very much. Hello. Nice to see you. Hello. Good to see you all. Hello. You got it. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please give a warm welcome and a big hand to Sir Richard Branson and Madam Telia Salim.
So Richard, it just so happens that BNI at the moment is at a very critical junction where we are going to transform ourselves structurally, our DNA change, bank-wide, in order to be able to progress more efficiently, with innovation, with eagerness, with all that is about you, actually. That is why you're here today. We see you as a transformative figure and innovative.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure and honor to welcome to tonight's BNI's inspiring lecture, founder and chairman of Virgin Group, Sir Richard Branson.
From zero to hero, long-haired, barefooted hippie, high school dropout with poor reading and math skills. But no one will ever guess that one day he became one of the world's richest men who owns more than 360 companies worldwide. His entrepreneurial ways began early when he was publishing a student magazine at just 16 years. In 1970, Branson founded Virgin Mail Order. A year later, the first Virgin record shop opened in Oxford Street, London. Richard Branson built a recording studio called The Manor near Oxford, England, where the first ever Virgin artist, Mike Oldfield, recorded Tubular Bells. Under the record label, Mike Oldfield released Tubular Bells, one of the biggest selling albums of the decade and the soundtrack to the horror film The Exorcist. The record label went on to sign top music artists like the Sex Pistols, Genesis, the Rolling Stones, and Simple Minds. In 1984, Virgin Atlantic Flight took off, flying to all sorts of glamorous locations. Branson has managed to Virginize a very wide range of products and services, including train, mobile, credit card. Richard's business then went into space with Virgin Galactica. The world is not enough for him.
Look at this crowd. Everybody's very excited to see you. And first of all, welcome to Jakarta. Jakarta is very excited to see you, but is Indonesia a place that you know well, Sir Richard?
I think, like a lot of people from overseas, I know one island in Indonesia very well.
Oh, Bali.
and then created our own little island in of all places, the Virgin Islands, and we borrowed lots of ideas from Bali to create a really beautiful Bali, little mini Bali.
Sir Richard is wearing batik. Is this the first time you're wearing batik?
No, I think the worst export from the United Kingdom was the tie and the suit. I think it's it's so sad to see people in this region wearing ties and suits, and in Japan wearing ties and suits. I think batiks is so much more beautiful, and I think you should all rebel.
And actually, batik is pretty good business. Maybe there's going to be virgin batik.
No, I think the nice thing about batik is it shows off their individuality, whereas a suit and tie show very little individuality at all.
Sir Richard came
Virgin
here.
batik sounds not a bad idea.
Well, Sir Richard came here in a horse and carriage. Well, we call it an andong or delman. Is that your first time on a horse and carriage? Did you enjoy that?
I loved it. No, actually, I used to have a horse and carriage, believe it or not. But the horse kept on cantering away down the street, and I thought that maybe it wasn't a sensible thing to do. But it was very nice to arrive here in a horse and carriage.
Okay, Sir Richard Branson now, perhaps for many of us who don't know what Sir means, it's some kind of, a title given to you by the Queen. Maybe you could tell us a little bit, how did you get to have this title, Sir? What does it mean, and what was exactly the contribution that actually earned you the title, Sir?
Thank you, madam. Now, I must admit, I was a little bit nervous because you go to Buckingham Palace and the Queen picks up the sword and you kneel down in front of her. And what went through my head was, many years ago, I'd discovered a band called the Sex Pistols. And the Sex Pistols had released a song called God Save the Queen. So I was slightly nervous that the head was going to come straight off, and that it wouldn't just be the shoulder. But anyway, she was very polite, and she touched the shoulder, and I think it's a I'm sure in your country you have ways of recognizing people.
Not with a sword.
Not with a sword.
Dipersembahkan oleh
kami merasakan harapan dan mengerti arti sebuah cita-cita. Kami percaya setiap orang punya potensi untuk selalu berkembang. Kami hadir untuk melayani dan selalu mendukung pengembangan itu sepenuhnya. BNI 64 tahun turut mengembangkan Indonesia.
Power. Protection. Acceleration. From Top 1 HP Plus with VX12 technology. For maximum engine protection. Top 1 HP Plus for high-performance driving.
Kami merasakan harapan dan mengerti arti sebuah cita-cita. Kami percaya setiap orang punya potensi untuk selalu berkembang. Kami hadir untuk melayani dan selalu mendukung pengembangan itu sepenuhnya. BNI 64 tahun turut mengembangkan Indonesia.
Dipersembahkan oleh
Sir Richard has just celebrated his 60th birthday back in July. So big hands. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
And 60 more years to come. But are we going to see you sort of maturing, slowing down, or is this going to be, the beginning of a new life for you?
I think interesting thing is that if you can keep fit and healthy, I honestly don't feel any different than when I was 20. You know, so you know, this year I ran the marathon. You know, next week I'm trying to kite surf across the English Channel. I try to do lots of adventures with my children now, and so I think, you know, I feel, you know, as healthy and as well as I did almost as a teenager, and yet, you know, I've learned a lot, and I feel there's a lot more to accomplish, and I think that, you know, I've been fortunate enough to be successful in my profession. Being a successful entrepreneur, wealth comes with it. A certain amount of fame comes with it, and therefore I think enormous responsibility comes with it. You know, if you're a successful doctor or nurse or policeman or, you know, customs officer or whatever, you can be the top of your profession, but not much wealth comes with it. So, you know, so what I'm now trying to do is use the position I find myself in to, you know, to use my entrepreneurial skills to set up social businesses, non-profit making businesses that, you know, can look at some of the big problems in the world and see if we can tackle them.
Before we go to that, you have over 350 companies all over the world, and yet we rarely see you here, Richard. Why is that? I mean, are we not exciting enough for you? Are you not interested in businesses?
It's a good question, and today I was asking myself the same question. They have had a wonderful welcome since I've been here, and it certainly won't be the last time, and I'll be coming back many times. I think that, you know, from the little I'm learning about Indonesia, it seems you have many entrepreneurs already, and, you know, an entrepreneur is somebody that, you know, sees that something's not being done well by somebody else and gets in there and does it, and particularly somebody who takes on, you know, the big fat bloated companies that are not doing well and tries to shake them up. But if there's any entrepreneurs here that see an opening and any gaps in the market where they think Virgin, you know, can help, I'd be delighted to hear from them.
Be careful what you wish for. There's going to be stacks of proposals coming your way. But Richard, what kind of investment opportunities do you actually see in Asia? And we're talking about, you know, the dawn of the new decade is going to be the Asia decade. But do you see any specific opportunities that are ready for you to take on in Asia?
I mean, I think that, you know, since, you know, the audience is full of a lot of budding entrepreneurs, and I think that you shouldn't necessarily think, how can I make money? I think what you should be thinking is, how can I make a difference to other people's lives? You know, who's not making a difference to other people's lives in a particular sector? And you know, if your local airline is badly run, I don't know what the situation is here. I mean, it used not to be the best. I think it's improved. But if the people who work for it are not happy there, you know, then set up a competitor. You just can go through sector after sector, and if you feel that something, you know, when you come into contact with a particular company, if it's annoying you and you feel I could do better, that's the time for an entrepreneur to come and try doing better. And you know, I'm sure there are many areas where things could be improved. I mean, the traffic is not the best here. Maybe you could come up with somebody could come up with an entrepreneurial idea to improve the traffic here. And you know, so it's out of frustration that the best ideas happen.
But when you go to invest, say, for example, in a country, what kind of sort of business climates, what kind of regulations that, you know, you're looking for and make a place, you know, attractive for you to enter, and not something like, oh, this is just too hard for me, this is just impossible, the competition is just, you know, too difficult. But what exactly are you looking for? Just want to see whether, you know,
well,
Indonesia
I think you need a country that encourages competition, you know, that
healthy competition, I presume.
that is it completely obeys the law, that is not corrupt, anyway, those are a prerequisite, I think. If you go into a country that is run in a corrupt way, then you cannot. It's very difficult to be sure that you can build a business and that the business will be secure.
Well, you have 350 companies, or probably more, under the Virgin Group, and we have a lot of people here from the corporate sector, entrepreneurs and regulators, and all, I'm sure, extremely interested to know what are the secrets of your success, and what does a company need to do in order to expand, to grow, especially in terms of the huge number of companies that you actually have under the Virgin Group wing?
Well, first of all, I think that the very first company you start, it must come from your heart. You must have a passion for whatever it is you decide to do, and a passion to create the best, a passion to make a real difference to people's lives. I think that's a prerequisite, of starting something. The second thing is, which is just as important. I mean, what is a company? A company is no more than the people that work in the company, and I think some company chairmen forget that. If you're good at listening to people, good at motivating people, good at surrounding yourself with wonderful people, it's essential that you don't criticize. It's essential that you praise. You look for the best in people, that you genuinely love people. It's essential that the other managers that you get around you are of the same kind of, the same kind of people who will take the same amount of attention on the switchboard operators and the cleaning ladies as they will in their fellow directors. So, it's the idea of a company being a family is often used too much by big companies, which are definitely not families. But if you can actually create that sort of that family atmosphere, if you can have people that really love what they're trying to do, you can achieve pretty well anything. And I think that's been the strength of Virgin. I think we've also, I've also been quite good at delegating. In fact, I couldn't have done any, gone from one company to two companies or three companies without learning the art of delegation from a very young age. So you want to find people, ideally find people who are better than yourself, give them the freedom to make mistakes, give them the freedom to do good things. And sometimes they'll do things in a different way than you doing them, but sometimes they'll do things a lot better. Sometimes you might slightly disagree with them, but people are not always going to do them exactly as you wish, and actually often that's a positive thing.
So that's how you run your company, like a family. And there's a lot of fun. I mean, looking at you, you look like, it must be great to have a boss. I like Sir Richard Branson.
I think that, I just think all of us needs, anybody who's running companies need to, I've met the charming lady that runs the bank who's sponsored tonight, and I wish I was working for her. She's delightful, she's kindly paid me some money to come tonight, which we've actually got a charitable foundation in Africa which is setting up a centre for disease control. So thank you all for making that possible to help us build that as well.
Dipersembahkan oleh
Kami merasakan harapan dan mengerti arti sebuah cita-cita. Kami percaya setiap orang punya potensi untuk selalu berkembang. Kami hadir untuk melayani dan selalu mendukung pengembangan itu sepenuhnya. BNI 64 tahun turut mengembangkan Indonesia.
Power, protection, acceleration. From Top 1 HP Plus with VX12 technology. Top 1 HP Plus for high performance driving.
Kebaikan alam hadir dalam Nutrisari dengan jeruk organik. Tumbuh tanpa pestisida kimia, lalu diolah di pabrik berteknologi modern. Nutrisari dengan jeruk organik. Sari alam bernutrisi.
Kami merasakan harapan dan mengerti arti sebuah cita-cita. Kami percaya setiap orang punya potensi untuk selalu berkembang. Kami hadir untuk melayani dan selalu mendukung pengembangan itu sepenuhnya. BNI 64 tahun turut mengembangkan Indonesia.
Dipersembahkan oleh
Let's talk about business, shall we? Now, Ophelia earlier talked about transformation and innovation. It's these two words. Give us a definition of the meaning of transformation and innovation. Are these important elements for a business to have?
Absolutely. I think you have to be permanently transforming yourself, and just as you feel you've finished, transforming yourself, you must already be starting to, retransform yourself and your products and your everything about what you're doing. I mean, we started Virgin Atlantic Airways 25 years ago with one 747. We were competing, with British Airways with 500 planes and American Airlines with 400 planes, and